views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and do not necessarily reflect the official policies or positions of City World Media, LLC, or its affiliates. All shows are produced with full participant consent. City World Media does not claim ownership of any third-party music featured and uses all tracks only with proper permissions or licenses granted by their respective rights holders. City World Media operates in accordance with fair use and digital broadcast guidelines on all platforms. From my city to your world, we are City World. Thank you for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin.
Yeah. Hey yo, bricker, bracker, firecracker, sis, boom, bar. Rob, razor, raw, raw. Bricker, bracker, firecracker, sis, boom, bar. Rob, razor, raw, raw. I'm the ghetto poet for profit. Have Mike will travel. No science will drop it. Mysteries unravel. Straight facts I be speaking. Rob Razor, the roller. While the levels are peaking. Yeah, I grind like a molar. Time to heat up the global. Here to change up the climate. Take over is total. Man, it's hard to define it. I am loving this life. Most can hardly imagine. Every meal is a banquet. Every night is a pageant. I got the power, I told you. It'll never be over. Disciplined as a soldier. Time you rock with a roller. When the steppers are stepping, my zombie plan is to run. Keep my hand on a weapon, lots of ammo and guns. Life is so quick and awesome, I enjoy every breath. Take a page from the JBs and do it to death. Or we could do it to life, we should do it tonight. Don't you be so uptight, it would be out of sight. You can open your eyes and you can see why I give. Every one of us dies, not every one of us lives. For as long as I'm breathing, it is level up season. We will never be even, we will never be even. Cracker, firecracker, sis, boom, bar. Raw, razor, raw. Bricker, cracker, firecracker, sis, boom, bar. Raw, razor, raw. Bricker, cracker, firecracker, sis, boom, bar. Raw, razor, raw. Bricker, cracker, firecracker, sis, boom, bar. Raw, razor, raw.
Peace, y'all. What's good? It's your buzzing cousin, Ghost Boogie. Check it out, man. Welcome back to another edition of B-Boys Underground. Tonight's a special one. I'm super excited to have this opportunity to sit down with the one and only C-Doc. Tonight begins a new series focused on SpitSLAM. Man, let's say that again. SpitSLAM Records, Rap Central Station, and the artist, producers, executives, and creators helping preserve hip-hop history while building independent platforms for the future. Our guest is David C-Doc Snyder. C-Doc is an MC, producer, filmmaker, president, and co-owner of SpitSLAM Records and creative director for Public Enemy. His journey started as a serious Public Enemy fan during hip-hop's golden age through the Enemy board. He connected with Chuck D and became part of an early forum of online music collaboration, exchanging music through email before remote recording became even common or popular practice. That connection led to We Don't Need You, a record about artist independence, home studios, MP3s, emails, and direct distribution. Chuck D later selected C-Doc as the primary producer for the Impossebulls, widely described as the first virtual rap squad, and brought the group into the relaunched SLAMjamz Records. Since then, C-Doc has built an extensive body of work with Chuck D, Public Enemy, and Enemy Radio. He's produced and mixed Superman's Black in the Building for Public Enemy's New World Order and helped sequence the album. He produced 7 songs on What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down, which is an amazing album too. basically produced and arranged Enemy's Radio's Loud Is Enough and played a major role in Chuck D Presents Enemy Radio. Radio Armageddon through production, mixing, and programming, scratching keyboards, and sequencing. He produced 5 songs and supervised Public Enemy's Black Sky Over projects, Apartment 2025. His work with Chuck D includes We Wreck Stadiums featuring the amazing Willie Mays, used in Nelson George's Say Hey Willie Mays documentary along with Summer of Ham, the official book track. His recent works include No Country for Old Men, bringing Chuck D together with John Densmore of The Doors. C-Doc co-wrote and produced much of the album, including work connected to Every Tick, 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 named Record Store Days 2026's Song of the Year. His production catalog also include Chill Rob G's Empires Crumble and Survival of the Better, featuring artists including Tretch, Sadat X, Wise Intelligent, Copyright, Lakeem Shabazz, Chuck D, and R.A. the Rugged Man. He reunited with Imported Flows for the 20th anniversary edition of Spanglish under the name 2124. Alongside DJ M-Rock, he formed the Beat Raiders and serves as an executive producer for the Magnificent Seven series. His wider credits connect him with Stetsasonic, Daddy-O, DMC, Rev Run, Cypress Hill, George Clinton, Ice Cube, Chug Rock, Speech, El Decency, Paris Smith, Raheem, Kid Creole, Numi Wright, Black Maiden, The B-Boys, Pop Smash, and James Bond. Outside of music, C-Doc founded HWIC Filmworks and directed films including The Quiet Arrangement, Locked In, Heights, Girl 2, Airbnb, and The Black Men Don't Cheat. He's also directed roughly 50 music videos and documentary shorts and hosts It's C-Doc Again, where he has conducted more than 200 interviews with artists, executives, producers, and people connected with hip-hop history. Tonight, we trace his path from Enemy Board to Public Enemy, from the Impossebulls to SpitSLAM, and from early digital collaboration to the new physical and editorial work behind Rap Central Station. We'll also discuss artist ownership, physical media production, film archives, current releases, and the larger vision behind this new series. I appreciate him giving us time, trusting B-Boys Underground to help document this story. You know, as always, from the booth to the truth, we are live, uncut, unfiltered, and raw. And without further ado, allow me to please introduce the one, the only C-Doc in the house, y'all. Welcome in, C-Doc.
Yo, it is an honor to be here. B-Boys Underground. Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate it so much.
Appreciate you, fam. Look at that pretty magazine right there.
Issue 3 out now. You should be able to get it at Barnes & Noble. And we're trying to get into record stores too. So, but like, this is it. This is the real deal, man.
It's like it's like the same size of an album.
Yeah, that was a key thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like we had to, there were people that wanted to make it like a regular magazine size. And Chuck was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So.
That is sick though.
Yeah.
So you can get it at Barnes & Noble and you can get it, are you able to get it on Amazon?
No, not yet. I don't think. Even though I think, doesn't Amazon own Barnes and Noble? I think, but
I think Amazon owns everything.
Everything. But here's the thing, though. If you go get a subscription, right?
Yes.
You know, with issue 3, we started this. You get a record.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you go get the subscription, you pay. I think you have to pay a little extra for the record, but you get the record, and this look. Man, not only does the record have some of the SpitSLAM joints on it, it's got an intro by KRS-One. It's got Cujo Goody. It's got Money B from Digital Underground, Dazzy D, Power Rule, Prince Power Rule, Tracy Lee. There's a DMC joint with his new rock band, Ghost in the Hall. Shabam Sadiq. Ray West featuring AG, Rascast. Yo, man.
You get that with the album if you subscribe or get a subscription online?
Yeah, you get the record with the... I think you have to select it, right? So when you sign up for your subscription. So you sign up for the subscription, order it online, and select the record. Like, I think it costs a little more because of shipping and whatnot.
Of course, yeah.
Right, but
that's a hell of a record.
You get a record
to have.
Yeah, and I guess we're trying to do it with every issue from here on out now. So we'll see. That's the plan.
Hey, man, that's dope. That is so super dope. Well, welcome in and looking forward to that. Tell everybody the links, and the link are in the description to the magazine, and for you to be able to take advantage of that. Also, let everybody know where they can. What's the website that they can go to?
I believe it's Silverback Publishing. It's published out of the UK.
Okay.
And, they do a whole bunch of series of different magazines or whatever, but this is the only hip hop offering they have, courtesy of Mr. Chuck D and his vision of bringing hip hop print magazine back.
Hey, man, it's dope. I mean, because I remember plenty of time. I still have all of my collection of like old school Source magazines and Murder Dog, just all of the different ones, man.
Do you have Elemental?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got my Elemental still. Yeah.
That, and then of course Double XL and all of those things. I mean, just being able to, they were like time capsules, and very much important with being able to have those, and spent tremendous amount of time looking over those things. So salute to you. So that what's good? Treat yourself. Welcome in, and good to see you. The song that we just played, before we get into the first question, Chill Rob G, Level Up Season, y'all. Yeah. So tell us about that. And you did the production work on that as well, correct, sir?
I did the production work, yeah. And
dope production.
Thank you. It's the second album Rob and I have done together. There's the wax. It should be.
I love the cover, the artwork too, man.
Thank you. I did that as well. So this is the second.
Psycho Realmish.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I did think about that. Yeah, man. I was a huge Chill Rob G fan, and I've had the opportunity to work with him. And like I said, this is the second record we've done together. Empire's Crumble was the first. This is the one that's out now. Just dropped a couple months ago. The vinyl's dropping next week. I think it'll be in stores. But yeah, there's CDs you can get at SpitSLAMrecords.com. And we're gonna have wait, if I got it here. Oh, wrong one. But we're going to have cassettes as well.
Ooh, so you are going to actually start printing up. Yeah. Look at that. Man, taking your back with that.
I never thought tapes would
Never in a million years tapes would come back. Never. Never once did I ever think that tapes would come back.
Nope. I mean, records kind of slightly made sense.
Because it's still DJing, but yeah.
And the people started collecting, okay. I didn't think records were going to come back like they did, but I'm like, but I understood it. I got it, right? And CDs were always kind of there. They never really went away.
Right.
Tapes, never saw that. I'm not mad, because I was a collector, but never thought we'd be bringing tapes back. But
yeah, I have a question for you. I know vinyl, whenever you print and press vinyl and order vinyl, it depending upon which place you go to, it could be a little bit of a cumbersome project, getting it out and pricing and getting them pressed up in time to press. What is the comparison in getting cassettes printed up, and record, I guess, distributed and made up compared to all of them? Is it faster as a CD, or as fast as a CD, or slower, or which takes the longest?
Well, so great question. It depends on how you're doing it.
Okay.
If you're doing CDs in the traditional manner, like glass mastered, replicated CDs, those still take some time. And tapes take some time too, but they don't take really that long. I think the whole batch we did was I think it took me about a month or so once I got everything ordered.
No kidding.
Get it back. Yeah. And cost per unit, depending on how many you do, obviously you do more, the cost per unit comes down, but I think it was like $5-6 a tape or whatever. So it's not bad. At SpitSLAM, I found a place years ago that does CDs on demand, and that's how we've been doing it. Yeah, they are CDR, but they look good. You can't really tell. They play well, and the printing that they do is fantastic. Everything comes shrink wrapped. I've had 2 complaints since we've been running the label, and I've been running the label. It's been 8 years, so. People have asked me, hey, any chance of doing Glassmaster? I'm like, it's either I dump a bunch of money into glass mastering an album and then I can't do anything else, or let everybody know the difference between what you're talking about in regards to Glassmaster and CDR. So a CDR you can basically make at home, right? Yeah. You can make, if you have a CD burner, you can make your own CDR. That's the easiest way to do it, and they do that for what they call short run CDs, like if you want to make 1 CD or maybe you want to do 100 CDs. Okay. That's what they do for those orders. If you're doing 1,000 CDs, I think they brought it down to 500 now some places. Then you can do what's called a glass master, and it's called a replication. And what they do is they make, it's almost like records, and that they make a master disc that they press from, and then they press the information into CDs. Got it. They're supposedly more durable, in theory, and they're nice to have or whatever. But at the end of the day, is there a difference in the file quality and the sound? No. Yeah. There's no difference. Gotcha. Yeah. And this at least way makes you not have to buy 1,000 plus whatever CDs. Have a closet full of inventory, unsold inventory, stuff like that. And it also allows me to release damn near everything we put out on CD. So if somebody wants, we started doing CD maxi singles because I love maxi singles. That was one of my favorite things, and I was able to do that, because I don't have to put all the upfront money behind it. So that's dope. Yeah. I mean, that in itself, I mean, it's so cool to, especially in the age of you will own nothing and like it. Yeah. It's one of those things where, anybody that is out there doing and creating physicals, right? Physical copies, something that you can hold in your hand, and especially, while you're listening to it, you're looking at the artwork, liner notes, and just staring at it. I do too. I mean, that was part of the experience of grabbing an album and even pulling out, if they had, a sleeve that's printed out, or just even flipping the cover on the back and looking at, because I was one of the guys that was, a nerd when it came to looking at who was a producer on, and the artists, and then even the engineers, if there were, if they were using live musicians, and seeing who were the musicians that were tied to each other and everything like that. So that's something that you don't really get. I mean, you can click the credits on the streaming platform and see who's associated with it, but it just doesn't have the soul. No, it's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same at all. And because you actually have to, it's so easy to hit
you stream on your phone or your device and throw it through a Bluetooth, whereas, you know, it was a very intentional process when you put a CD in, put a tape in, or cue up a record, and then you're flipping sides and all of that. And the thing that also, and I know it's something that you take very seriously, and we want to get into it later on as we get into this, is sequencing, you know? Yes. And because especially when you go from side A to side B on cassettes, or also like if you have vinyl, it's either side A, side B, or you have a double album, you have CD, and, you know, all of that stuff. And there's an intentional thought process that each side flows. You know, I just think about like Death Certificate, right? Side, you had the death side and the life side, right? And it was so dope to have those two, you know, and all of it. I mean, Public Enemy, just KRS-One, like all of the classic albums, like even Cypress Hill, they were very intentional. And then I'll take you back to, you know, my old school soul and funk. I mean, there was just a very intentional, you know, ebb and flow and connections into the, you know, the different sides of the album. So sequencing is something I really listen for, you know, instead of just someone just dumping a bunch of songs onto a file.
It's a lost art, man. And even when we do releases that are, you know, primarily going to be digital or just CD or whatever, I'm always thinking in terms of side A and side B. So, yeah, always.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
So, like we always do about this time, we got to get into it. So the first question that we always ask is, I need you to see Doc to take me back in time to the place and space to where you have your first memory associated with hip hop. I want to know who was there, where it was at, you know, what kind of funky sensations and feels and vibes, and who was like, put us in the room and tell us, you know, what a young C-Doc was experiencing and what that song was, and or, you know, why it meant so much to you that it put you on this journey to fast forward all the way to where you are right now in the present.
So it's funny because the more I thought about this in telling this story a couple of times, there's stuff that predates what I'm going to talk about, but I didn't really tie that all together yet, because I actually took a breakdance class at one point. I was trying to do that stuff.
So you were going to try to be a b-boy.
I was trying, but I didn't really know, man. I was growing up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not where I live now, over near the airport, and was just into all kinds of different things, you know? I was into movies and big into music, always listening to music. And in the mid-'80s, 85, 86, I was listening to a lot of R&B and soul, contemporary R&B and soul at the time, because Pittsburgh had...
Like who?
Like Cameo and Gap Band and you know, and then Bobby Brown dropped, and of course Prince, and you know, Michael Jackson. I remember Thriller when Thriller came out, and it was just that whole experience. But then when Purple Rain came out, Purple Rain hit a little different, you know. For me, like, I love Michael, but Prince is like my guy.
I was gonna ask you, like, because you know, when it comes, that always has been, and especially back then, it was, who you with? Are you Prince or are you with Michael? So you rocked with Prince.
I rocked with Prince, man. Prince was just a special cat. I got to meet him once too.
Oh wow, I got to hear the story about that. So hold on, stop, pause. We're gonna. Tell us about your meeting with Prince. I want to know, Charlie Murphy.
It was really strange, but
did he offer you pancakes?
No, not at all. He just shook my hand. But a guy that was affiliated with Public Enemy, and he was basically looking. He had a connection with Prince's drummer at the time, and he was basically looking for a ride. And he's like, "Yo, if you drive me out to this Prince show, you know, I'll get your ticket or whatever the hell." And it's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I'm like, I'd never seen Prince live, even though I was a fan, and I didn't realize that the show was 3.5 hours away. So when I said yes to this, so.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, oh, I don't think that's far, and then on the trip, I'm like, oh god, this is far. But anyway, we went to, I wouldn't trade for the world, but we went to the show. Yo, it was crazy. It was amazing. And then
what year was this?
2000. I'm still working in downtown Pittsburgh, so 2002 maybe.
So was he doing like Crystal Ball and Emancipation and stuff like that around that time?
It was after that.
Okay.
I just remember the hits. He was just doing the hits, you know?
All right.
And it wasn't like wasn't a crazy long show or anything, but he just, he barreled through the hits, and it was great. It might have been like 2001 or so.
Okay.
And it was shortly after Chuck had done a collaboration. They had done a collaboration together.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody from the PE team had to connect. So we went to the show. After the show, the dude disappeared, went on the tour bus or whatever for a few minutes. I'm just kind of standing around, and then he came out and he's like, yo, Prince is going to be at this club in town for this after party. You mind hanging around? We might be able to actually meet him. I'm like, I say less, bro. I'm
already thinking, 3.5 hours away. I might as well.
Not thinking I got to drive back and go to work the next day. And so anyway, 3 a.m, this empty club, music is blasting. We walk up. There he is. The guy I was with said, "Introduce me" or whatever, and Prince is like, he works at, like, "Oh, this is C-Doc, he works with Chuck," and does blah, blah. And Prince just looked at me and he smiled and he put his hand out like this, and I shook his hand. I was like, "It's an honor to meet you, sir," and he just kind of bowed like that, and that was pretty much it. But
I gotcha.
And I drove, shortly thereafter, drove 3.5 hours back, went and got a shower, drove to work, and luckily my boss said, "Yeah, I'm not coming in today. If there's anything going on, just take care of it." And I fell asleep on the desk. So it was great.
That works out. Like, hey, we were able to sleep, and
it was crazy. Yep. It was
and right there,
Prince story.
And then in all the chats right there, there's a link to the magazine for you to be able to order, and also the main website for you to be able to check out rapcentralstation.net as well, and everything that they have going on there.
Yes.
So that's an amazing story. So, okay, so let's get back to the first memory. And like you said, you had earlier memories, of course, because everybody heard Rapper's Delight and yada yada yada.
I don't even know if I had heard Rapper's Delight at that point. I know, like, I had seen the Walk This Way video, right?
Yeah.
Right, but at that point in time, I was so into, like, most of the kids that I went to high school with were like metalheads and all that, and I wasn't digging that. That just wasn't my thing. So I'm listening to, we had in Pittsburgh, we had WAMO, which is one of the, like, all-time great black music stations, legendary station, and so that's what I'm listening to. And so my dad was a golf pro.
Okay.
And he worked at a country club. So,
okay.
By extension, I worked at the country club. And one of the guys that was working for my dad, there was a big boom box in the what we call the cart barn, which is where all the golf carts go.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking through the bag room, which is where they keep all the golf club members. They keep their golf clubs there. And so I'm walking back through there to the cart barn, and I hear something playing out of the boombox. I'm like, what is this? You know, I'm like, and I walk back, and one of the kids that worked for my dad, he was a couple years older than me, Jerry Strader. Shout out to Jerry Strader, wherever you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I'm Jerry, what is this? And he reaches back and he pulls out the tape case, and it's Bigger and Deffer by LL Cool J.
Okay.
And I take it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo. And he's like, you want to borrow it? I'm like, yes, I do. And so he took the tape out. I took it home that night. Yo, man, I must have listened to I'm Bad like 50 times in a row. Just could not. And then I got to the rest of the album. But I couldn't get... I'm Bad was like... That just blew my mind. That was just the craziest, illest shit ever.
Man.
And...
Shout out to DJ Pooh for production work on that as well, man.
LA Posse. Yeah.
Yes. No one really actually knows that as much as it should be touted, that West Coast, you know, had very much a hand in making one of the most iconic LL Cool J East Coast early hip hop albums, you know, and that's DJ Pooh all over it. And of course, the LA Pop, like, dude, that in itself is always
Bobcat on the scratches.
Yes.
Vicious.
Yes. That
vicious. Yep.
Yeah, man. I remember when he did that album, or he did an appearance promoting that album on SNL, and he had that. He got on top of that big box, and it was like moving back and forth and shaking, and he was in his troop outfit, like just spitting and everything like that. As I just remember as a youngin', like, yo, so yeah, loving that, you know, because that was a huge album. Because and my wife, Mama Boogie, loves that album. Like, she can, I can put that in and she can just hit, like, she can recite that from the beginning to end. I'm just like, love it.
Yeah, man, it was so dope that, and I just, from then on, it was just like, all right, whatever this is, I want more of this.
Yeah.
You know? And I think had I heard, it was crazy. Had I heard, like, if I would have been, like, went and bought Raising Hell and I would have heard Peter Piper, I would have got into it earlier.
Yeah.
But I heard Walk This Way, and it was cool. But it was like, it was a little too rock for me at the time.
Yeah, it was Aerosmith.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, okay. I like the rap guys. I don't know about the rock guys, but, you know. But, you know, that it just worked out that way. So, so then it's funny, around the same time, my cousin John went to visit friends of his. He grew up in Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
And
shout out to Youngstown.
Yep, shout out to Y-Town. And he went to visit friends of his parents, and Mike Sandy. Shout out to Mike Sandy.
Okay.
Mike Sandy, who I finally got to meet 30 years after the fact. But Mike Sandy plays a pivotal role in this. Mike Sandy they were living in Miami, and Mike Sandy had, like, everything that was out then. And plus, he's in Miami, so not only does he have Two Live Crew and Shy D and all this stuff, but he's got Schoolie D. And so Mike Sandy got John into, like, was hipping John into this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. So Mike Sandy got John into, I think, Kool Moe Dee, right? I think he hit him to Kool Moe Dee, and he got How You Like Me Now.
Yeah.
Right? So we used to hang out on weekends sometimes. We'd go to Youngstown to visit my grandmother and my aunt, and I'd hang out with John and stuff. And John he got me How You Like Me Now. So I'm like, okay, now I got 2 rap albums. And then eventually, but I don't know what I'm looking for yet, right? This is pre-Yo MTV Raps.
Yep.
So, and I'm in the suburbs, so we're not really getting this stuff yet. You know, we're not getting the tapes yet. And so, eventually, then he gets By All Means Necessary, Boogie Down Productions. And when he let me dub that, again, that one, yeah. By All Means Necessary was like, all right, this is serious now, because this is something, like, not to say I didn't love the other two albums, because I did, because I played them nonstop, but By All Means Necessary was something else, because they're talking about serious shit on this record.
Amen.
You know, like, there's lessons going on here, like this. This is kind of crazy. Then that fall of '88, Yo MTV Rap starts, floodgates open. Now I know what to look for. I'm trying to find all this stuff, and I'm a full blown addict at this point.
Did you have any type of record stores close to you that actually carried and stocked hip hop, or did you have to travel into the city to be able to get access and find it?
I eventually, like right around that time, around the UMTV Raps time, the places near that were closest to me started stocking it.
Okay.
And so I was able to finally get some things. In fact, I remember going to in Pittsburgh we had a department store called Hills.
Okay,
and,
hell yeah, Hills. I remember Hills.
You remember Hills?
Yeah.
And I went to Hills one night, and they had this, and I still have the CD. I should have grabbed it. It was a K-Tel compilation called Rap, Rap, Rap.
Okay.
And 10 flawless cuts, and that was just like, you know, Big Daddy Kane Raw, right? That's what it starts with. Salt and Pepper, Beauty and the Beat, Jungle Brothers, Got It Like That, Plug Tune and De La, Going Back to Cali.
I don't think so. Yeah.
You're gonna Get Yours. Public Enemy, Paul Revere by the Beasties, Vapors by Biz.
Man, they hit heat on that.
Yo, man, every joint, bro, and that was so I had my dubs, and then I had that CD. Christmas '88, I just asked for rap tapes. That was it. Like, I don't want anything else except I made my mama list and got, you know, Nations.
Yeah.
I got Takes a Nation of Millions. I got Stetsasonic in Full Gear. Long Live the Cane. I asked for Ice-T Power, but I got Ryan Pays instead. I don't know if she saw the cover and switched it, or they didn't. They didn't have it in stock. I don't know.
I was going to ask you if there was any pushback from your parents in regards to, you know, basically allowing you to get rap music.
Yo, man, this is a great story, right? My dad worked all the time, and so mom was kind of running the house, and she was cool. She was really cool about it. In fact, she took me to a couple of rap shows. So,
hell yeah! Shout out to moms for that.
Shout out to mom. Yeah, but when America's Most Wanted came out, and there was a big article in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette newspaper about rap and explicit lyrics and all this stuff. And my dad came home, and he was home early that day, and he's like, "David, you listening to this shit?" You know, like, and I'm like, "Yeah, I have some of those tapes." And he's like, "Suzanne, do you know what he's listening to?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's not a big deal." You know, she goes, he's like, "Have you heard any of this?" And she goes, "I'll listen to it." So luckily Q put out the America's Most Wanted as the first single, and I had the single. So I'm like, grab the album, grab the single. Well, I'll grab the single. It's a little less than the album. So I gave it to my mom. She put it in, listened to it. I think she listened to this first song, and like, she's like, "Yeah, it's nothing." And then she gave it back to me. She goes, "There you go." She goes, "Yeah, it's nothing he hasn't heard before." I was like,
right.
Okay. And he goes, "Oh, okay, all right." And that was the end of it. That was the end of the argument. So shout out to mom for that.
I was lucky enough that, you know, when I first started listening to hip hop and wanting and asking for them to purchase, because that was the same thing. I got to give a big shout out to my parents for keeping me stocked with music and allowing me to have music. You know, that was always something that I always asked for. But the satanic panic was real in the 80s.
Oh,
and
yeah.
My parents were and family were very religious, and they didn't want me having any of the satanic panic materials or anything like that. So, you know, there was a Christmas that I got As Nasty As They Wanna Be instead of like a Guns N' Roses album or something, because I wanted As Nasty As They Wanna Be, right? But I knew I was like, there ain't no way in hell my mom's gonna get this for me right at the record store. So I was like, you know, Guns N' Roses is really hitting right now, and I know they won't give me any static or pushback with the parental variety. And she was like, hell no. She was like, what else do you want? And I had behind it, I was like, well, here's what I really want. And she was just like, looked at it, boom. All right. I was like, here we go.
Word up.
Yeah. And because I was a big Two Live Crew and have always been a Two Live Crew. And hey, look, if you're in Florida, vote for Luther Campbell for Congress.
Word up. Yep. Uncle
Support
Luke.
the man.
Here's my hot take real quick too. I actually prefer As Clean As They Want to Be to As Nasty As They Want to Be. Not because of because of the clean versions. I just think it's a tighter album. So
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
As Clean As They Want to Be. I got you. You know what? I have a version of that on CD too.
It also has City of Boom.
Yes, it does.
Crazy dope, and that's not on the Nasty version. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think that they had to make sure that they threw something else there because there were songs that they absolutely could not even, like Dick Almighty was not going to go on. Was not going to be on. There's no way There's no way to put Dick Almighty on there.
Yeah. There's no clean version of that.
Yeah. So that beep Almighty. Beep.
Yep.
So yeah, man, that's dope. So you definitely, started, and then from there, you just started consuming, and take me to the point where you went from passive listener to, all right, now I want to start, you had mentioned that you had taken some breaking classes, but you started getting creative in the creative space in regards to creating music and everything like that, like writing and, of course, eventually making beats. Tell me about that.
I just wanted to start writing rhymes. I wanted to do it. I was terrible, but we all start off terrible, I guess. And so I did. I started writing rhymes, and I had a little Casio keyboard. I was just making shitty beats and whatever, and doing it. And then my cousin, and then John was, we'd hang out and talk about this stuff, and I'm like writing rhymes, and he's like, man, you're writing rhymes? And he's like, yeah. And so then I started buying a lot of singles that had instrumentals, so that we had stuff to rap over, because the Casio keyboard beats just weren't cutting it. So
yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah, I wish I still had the SK1 though, that had the sampler.
Oh hell yeah, that was dope.
I had one. Yeah, I had one for a while, and for a minute there, that's how I was making beats. But yeah, we just started writing rhymes, and we put this little group together. It was me and my cousin John and my brother Jeff, and we called ourselves Triple Threat, and we were terrible. But what was cool about it was we made songs, and then we put it together into a tape. And my dad had a Xerox machine at work, and so I made a cover art for the tape. So we were playing record label, and I think I conned some of my school friends into giving me $5 for tapes. And
now, is that when you did your demo in 1991? Was that 1991?
So what happened? Yeah. So what happened there was I kept making these shitty little songs, and I met this kid that moved to the area. His name was Sean Dwyer, aka DLX, rest in peace to the homie. And he was the first he was this white kid, but he was a Muslim. And so he was the first Muslim I ever met. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And so,
like Nation of Islam Muslim?
No, not NOI, but like,
gotcha.
just, practicing Muslim. And
gotcha.
it was something he had taken on himself. And because he wasn't raised he was an Irish kid that, but he got into music and like hardcore, got into it. And Sean had a 4-track, which was the first 4-track I ever saw, and he had I don't remember what kind of sampling keyboard it was, but it was a dope sampling keyboard, and he played me some shit that he was doing. Not only could he cut and scratch, he could rhyme his ass off, and he was making beats, and I'm like, this shit sounds like real, like, stuff that should be in the store. Like,
was it an ASR 10?
Maybe. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was a long time ago, and I don't really remember, but
gotcha.
He had the drum machine. He had it all MIDI together. Yo, man, he was just making shit. And I guess I was the only other person that was like, I wasn't that great, but I was enterprising enough. I was
dedicated.
Yeah. I was doing stuff. And so he's like, I'll never forget. He goes, well, you're better than Vanilla Ice. And I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. So he took me under his wing, and we rewrote some songs, and he made some beats for him. And then he had this deal up in Vermont, up in Stowe, Vermont. I guess his sister lived up there. His sister and her husband, and they ran a resort in Stowe, Vermont. And somehow Sean had met this guy that had a 24-track studio,
nice.
About 3 miles away from the resort. And so Sean would work at the resort at night, and then he would go and cut demos, make demos for this guy. And he convinced the guy to let me come up, and because we were going to be a group. And so I was able to come up for a week, and we cut these professional 24-track demos in a studio. It was my first time in a studio, and that was we called ourselves Plaid Chinese. So it was a joke name, but it's what we had at the time, and it didn't really go very far. But like, that was where I really started to kind of take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a couple of years later, I got my first credit card, and I bought some equipment. I bought a Roland MKS 100 sampler, mm-hmm. and a 4-track that I still have to this day. It's running my
Is it a Tascam or?
Oh yeah. Yep. It doesn't work, but it won't play tapes anymore. But it's my mixing board right now. So
nice.
Yeah. And I just started making 4-track beats and tapes and songs and this, that, and the other thing, and I kept doing it, and eventually I got a hold of a couple of I see you have it behind you, the Give It Up, the Public Enemy Give It Up 12-inch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there was a promo or something, and it had the acapella on it.
Yep.
And there you go. So I had that, and I got when Chuck D did his solo project, the autobiography of Mr. Chuck, his first single, No, that had an acapella. So I did a couple of bootleg 4-track remixes, mm-hmm. and also around that time, 96, Chuck had a website, and he put his email address out there. And I only knew about this stuff because a buddy of mine that I grew up with started an internet company, like, that would design web pages. This was in 96.
Yes, sir.
And he's like, you want a web page? I'm like, I don't know what that is. And so he explained it to me. And he goes, I'll give you an email address. I'm like, okay. And I had the same email address since 1996.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of got into the tech side a little bit.
Okay.
I had a friend that was doing that. Chuck made himself accessible. Eventually they launched publicenemy.com.
Okay.
And again, his email address was out there. And then they started a forum, a website forum called the Enemy Board.
Okay.
There are people that say that I was the first person to post on it. I don't remember. Maybe I was, maybe not. I don't know. But that was like a daily stop. You know, get on the Enemy board, talk Public Enemy music, talk rap music with all these people, that like-minded people that were big PE fans.
You probably talked to me, even though I was on that thing back then too. But I wasn't. I was on a bunch of boards, but actually, you know, I was a lurker more than, you know, a poster and everything like that. I just would just, you know, check stuff
cool
out.
Shit, man. It was
yes,
really
it was
cool shit. Yeah. So, at that point in time, I was still using the 4-track, but then rudimentary figuring out recording on the computer and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when MP3s happened, you know?
Okay.
And so then we started sharing music. You know, you get these, what was it, GeoCities? These web pages.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And you get like a little bit of memory or like storage or whatever.
Yes.
So I had like 10 GeoCities accounts, so I could upload music to them, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was sharing music, you know, sharing MP3s, stuff I was doing. We'd share songs. I got a cease and desist from Def Jam once.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah. They were like, yeah, take all this shit down. Because I was sharing PE stuff that I had, like maxi singles and stuff that other people didn't have.
I got you.
You know, and they came after me for a minute, but I was like, whatever, I'll take it down. But yeah, that's how those bootleg remixes I did, I shared them with Chuck.
Okay.
And he was the keynote speaker. This was, I think, was October '99. The year There's a Poison Going On came out, which, by the way, today is the anniversary of that album coming out.
Oh, yo, no kidding.
Yeah. So
that's dope.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, it was their first record not on Def Jam. Chuck was a keynote speaker, and in Cleveland, at a hip hop convention in Cleveland. So I went up to see him, and there was a KRS-One was there. It was cool. There were a bunch of other people. I got to meet Grand Mixer DXT. That was dope. It was really cool. But I'd been posting on the Enemy board and whatever, and Chuck was on the Enemy board and stuff. So I'm standing in the audience, and he finishes his speech, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be, hanging around for a bit, check me out or whatever. If you got anybody want to come chop it up." And there were me and a couple other Enemy board fans there, or members there, and so like he's talking to somebody in the front row, and I'm like 5 rows back. I'm like, "Hey, Chuck," and he looked up at me, and I go, "I'm C-Doc," and he's like, "Yo, C-Doc, man, what's up, man?" Like, we were old friends, and I'm just like, what's going on here? This is crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna be hanging out. Come see me." I'm like, "Okay." And so I don't know where he's talking about. So Marcus J, the homie, he was there. That was the first time I got to meet him. And so we went, and finally we found Chuck, and we ended up talking with him and like sitting in the steps of the parking garage for like 3 hours. And he was just like that cool and accommodating. He's like, "Yeah, we're about to go on tour. There's a Poison Going On. I'm starting this record label called SLAMjamz," which he had already had in the it was originally in the Sony music system, but that didn't work out. So he goes, I'm taking it online, and it had to be one of the very first like online net labels, you know. And so I gave him the remixes I did on a CD, and when I saw him on the tour when they came to Pittsburgh, he's like, "Yo, man," I was like, "Did you get to check out the remixes?" He's like, "Yo, man, I already made cover art for those. I'm gonna put them up on SLAMjamz." Wow. What? Yeah.
How surreal was that for you, family? Just tell me about that.
Man, it was I'm just bugging out because, like,
yeah.
He's super approachable and super cool, and so they do an in-store in Pittsburgh, right, across from the venue, and I'm there with 2 friends, and you got to wait in line to get around, and the line wrapping around the store, right?
Yep.
We wait in line. We finally get over there, and I have to go pick up my girlfriend at the time. I was going to pick her up from work so we could go to the show. And I had to bounce and go pick her up. So my friend stayed in line, and I'm like, I'll be back. So I went and picked my girlfriend up, came back, and when I came back, they're like, oh, we're wrapping up the in-store. You know, you can't get in line anymore. I'm like, okay. I'm just going to look right through stuff. And I'm like kind of annoyed, but I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't want to, you know, she's just doing her job. The girl at the store. So I'm standing across from the table. The table's over there. I'm on the other side of, you know, the racks, and I'm just looking through CDs. And finally, Chuck looks up and he goes, Doc, what are you doing over there? Get over here. And I'm like, okay, sorry. They didn't want to let me over there. And I looked at the girl, and she just looked petrified, man. She just looked like, I'm like, it's all good. It's all cool. It's cool. She goes, I didn't know. I'm like, it's fine. Don't even sweat it.
Yeah.
And then I walked over and was hanging with them, and they signed a, I don't know, you can't really see it, but
I can go full screen. Hold on one second. Give me a
poster
moment.
that I got hanging back there.
Boom. There we go.
Yeah,
that's full screen.
Yeah. It's back there, but yeah. Chuck and Flav signed it up top, so
that's dope.
Yeah. And so, yeah, man, it was just like this guy is like one of my heroes, and
he's one of mine.
You know, he's just I was the biggest PE fan that I knew. Like everything they put out, I was there. Got to see him twice live in 1990, once in 92. Just a super fan. I tried to keep up on them, everything they were doing.
92 was with by the time I get to Arizona on that, man, that when I heard by the time I get to Arizona, just the way it started and the beat, like the whole, like, man, that whole album just was like, what the but I mean, from the very beginning, right? You know, It Takes a Nation, and you know, I just everything, and then even the Fight the Power, like when you get to Fight the Power, like my favorite mix of Fight the Power is the version off of Do the Right Thing soundtrack. There's something special about the mix that's in that, and the way they put together, and the energy, and they just have like a different like it when you listen to them. There's just like that other. It has so much energy. So whenever I play it, I always play the soundtrack version off of that one. But you know, I always accredit basically my higher learning as a young buck, you know, being in middle school and then all the way through high school and college, and there were two MCs that made a really big, besides Ice Cube, you know, West Coast, because I'm a West Coast head too. But like, you know, and Be Real and all of that. But when it came to like knowledge and basically challenging the education system, you know, or the indoctrination of the education system that we were given, and challenging the shit that we were learning, it was KRS-One and Chuck D. They were, and then of course, you know, we have Rakim during that time that was out too, and you know, there was, and then the Native Tongues, you know, it just, there was so much, like King Son, X-Clan, like all of the positive movement, right? And it made such an impact in my life to continue to seek out that stuff too. So I mean, it wasn't just the typical white kid listening to, like, you know, NWA and, you know, all of the stuff that was explicit, you know, and very, you know, street based, where you had basically street based music, but it was in a way uplifting, and it was where it was motivating you to be educated and think for yourself and challenge. You know, so that was huge.
It was huge for me too, because I was a scrawny white kid. You know, I'm a scrawny white kid. I'm a nerd. You know, I'm into movies and music and shit like that. And, you know, I got picked on in school. I heard PE, and PE's like, I know that's not the exact message, but PE is like, you know, is self-reliance, self-empowerment. They're talking about black people and in America systematically beat down for how many years.
Yes.
But I was able to kind of, in my own way, like, yeah, you know what? I don't have to take these guys. I don't have to take their shit.
Yeah.
You know, I got to stand up for myself. And then I made friends through the music, because now I've got friends that I'm trading tapes with. And there weren't a whole lot of black kids in my school.
Gotcha.
But there were some. And then nobody's messing around with me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, which was nice. That was a nice byproduct of that.
Yeah.
But still, I made new friends, and we would just talk about the music and trade tapes. And shout out to Jay Mormon, wherever he is, because Jay gave me X-Clan. He let me borrow X-Clan. He let me borrow Ride the Rhythm, Chill Rob G.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And those records were incredible records. Like, that was some shit. Like, okay, this is different.
Yeah, man.
Different. Like, all this other stuff. That was the beauty of the time. Everything that was coming out, it was like everybody had their own lane, and they were trying to do their own thing. Yeah, you always have copycats here and there and stuff, but there was more people trying to not bite, because you're not supposed to bite, than there were the biters, you know, at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful time that all that stuff could coexist. You could have gangster rap next to booty rap, next to native tongues, next to the hardcore militant shit. It would all exist because it was remember, it was hip hop against the world. It was rap against the world, because everybody was like, oh, this is a fad. It's not going to last.
It's not going to last. It's a flash in a pan, as you would hear my father say. Like, that's a flash in a pan. That's not going to. It's like, I don't know what you saying, Dad, but everybody that's around me, like, it is not going anywhere. So,
we're not going to let it go anywhere.
No.
You know?
And of course, at that time, the sampling culture was such a huge thing. So it was integrating, you know, all of these classic tracks that were established party albums, and, you know, they were incorporating that into it. And then, of course, you know, from that spawned, you know, the digging process where, you know, you didn't want to just, you know, throw on Knee Deep or anything like that. You had cats really going to the record store and picking up, you know, obscure albums. Like, you know, just think about just with Q-Tip alone early on with his production work. And
the Beat Nuts.
Yeah, the Beat Nuts. Shout out to, of course, Psycho Les and all of them. Like, but I mean, what I always thought was dope about PE and the Bomb Squad was that I saw an interview, and it was them in the studio, and they were talking about their creative process, and they literally were all of them in the same room working on machines, you know, samplers, and playing all types of crazy mechanical just noises, right? And they were like, we know when they were just always clashing all these noises together, and when they would finally get something that would start playing off of each other, like, you know, would you please join me in welcoming, you know what I mean? Like, welcome to the Terradome, I mean, just that, and that, I was like, how in the hell did they make that beat, and what the fuck is that sample? And it's just them, that rhythmic, and it's just like, it just sucks you in and kind of puts you in a trance. And then I got so much problems on my mind, refuse the loot. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's, again, Chuck D's a dream interview. Chuck, I hope you see this, and I hope you bless us with an interview, fam. But it's it as a kid, it set a cornerstone in me that just helped guide me into what I did, and just like you, right? And you evolved from that, and and for you to be able to go from someone that was listening to this, and then you early adapter on the internet, message board, to the fact that Chuck knows who C-Doc is, right? And then he's like, C-Doc, get over here. You know what I mean? And then to the point where, like, even where you are right now, where, you are co-owner of the label with him, SpitSLAM, and I know we're skipping over some things and we're going to circle back to it, but I want to get into the fact that, like, you started really putting together and started doing business with, one of the people that was like an icon and also like a mentor, and, by listening to his, because when you listen to hip hop music, regardless if they're in the room or they know you kind of like look up to these folks and listen to what they're saying, and they are a mentor, right? In a way. And, and you get a chance to do that. Tell me how that happened, and, what was that like for you, man?
It was, it was a crazy time. And we're talking about 1999, 98, 99, 2000, because things were changing so rapidly and quickly with technology, and that was a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy with where rap music was at, because we're talking about the shiny suit era.
Yeah, man. Starting the ringtone era.
Yeah, and Tribe had broken up
after the Love movement. Yep.
Things were looking grim.
Very much so. They were the landscape was changing, as they would say,
drastically. But there was some hope. At that point, the internet was great because it had opened up a lot of independent music that I wasn't aware of at the time. And I had moved around a lot by this point, but I found myself back in the Pittsburgh area again after many years. And so there were these places where, like Sandbox Automatic, I don't know if anybody remembers that site, but they were selling underground hip-hop stuff out of New York.
Oh, wow, man. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. So I'm fine. So it's not all bad, because I'm finding out what happened to, I'm like, what happened to KMD, Zevlov X and stuff? Oh, he's MF Doom now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who are these Slum Village guys? Okay, this is kind of interesting, right?
JD.
Okay. JD.
Yep.
Okay. Down with Tip and the Uma. Okay. All right. So there's some interesting things going on. Then
Madlib.
I hear Quasimodo. I'm like, this shit is dope.
Right.
I hear People Under the Stairs.
Oh my God, People Under the Stairs, bro.
Love People Under the Stairs.
Yeah,
love those guys. Those guys, I think more than many of the other ones, when I heard Question in the Form of an Answer, I was like, all right, thank you. You guys have saved music for me. And PE was still doing shit too.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget that, but because I had done those bootleg remixes and I was making songs, and I'm putting this out there. I can't confirm it, but on the Enemy board there was a guy that was making beats. His name was Dell, and he was living in the UK. And since I'm sharing music, I'm like, if I can share a song, I could share an acapella, right? So I tell Dell, I'm like, hey, send me one of your beats. I'm gonna rhyme on it. So he emails me the beat, I record my verse and I send him the acapella back, and he puts it together, and then we share it on the Enemy board. So like 1999, maybe, you know. So I don't know if I was the first person to do that, but I was definitely one of the early people to do that, you know.
Yeah.
For whatever it's worth, you know.
No, that's dope. Because that's right around the time when Pro Tools was actually becoming a thing, and they were emailing tracks back and forth. And so is that what led into the Impossebulls?
Yeah. So Chuck found, you know, because we put it up on the Enemy board, and Chuck hears this. He's like, "You guys did what?" And we're trying to explain it to him. He's like, "That shit is crazy." And so I didn't. So I was away visiting. Oh, I was in Dayton, Ohio, visiting a friend one weekend, right? And this is, you know, no cell phones, no instant internet access.
Yeah, pagers though.
Yeah, I didn't have a pager, but yes. But anyway, as I'm leaving to come home, I stop and have dinner with Marcus J., who lived in Xenia, Ohio. And
Xenia, shout out to Xenia.
Yeah, shout out to Xenia, XENIA.
Yep.
And I walk into the restaurant, and I see Marcus and give him a dap and a hug and whatever. And he's like, "Yo, did you see Chuck D wants to do a song with you?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "It's on the Enemy board." I'm like, I haven't been on all weekend. You know, I've been visiting." He's like, "Yo, man, somebody asked if Chuck would do a song with you."
Wow.
And he said yes. I'm like, no, there's no way, right?
Yeah.
I have to drive 4 hours home. I immediately go to get on the computer and search it through the Enemy board, and there it is. And he's like, "Hell yeah, I'll do a song with C-Doc." I'm like,
wow.
What? I'm bugging out. I told Marcus before I leave, I'm like, if this is real, if this is true, I'm like, you got to be on it too, because I can't just do it myself, because like I'm like nervous, you know. And so I roped a couple other people into it. And on the Enemy board, we did this song called "We Don't Need You," and that's how we did it. We just, you know, sent the MP3s and whatever, and put this song together. And this dude, Bill the pharmacist, who was in the Bay, he lived in the Bay Area. He volunteered to do the beat, so he did the beat, and we did the song, and then I got all the pieces, and then I remixed it. I did part 2, and when I did part 2, Chuck's like, "You know what? We should make this a group, and we'll call it the Impossebulls." I'm like, "Well, there's a band called the Impossebulls." He goes, "Oh, just spell it different, you know, IMPOSSEBULLS, Impossebulls." And that's how that started. And he's like, "You know what? You take charge of it and do what you feel, you know, and you know, you can cut records or whatever." That was the beauty of it. We could cut a record, like a topic would come up, you know, Chuck would be like, "Hey, I got an idea," and send it to us, and then we'd have, you know, on a Friday, and then I'd call everybody or email them and be like, "Oh, here's a beat, write your rhymes, record it, send it back to me," and by Monday we'd have the song.
Wow.
You know, and it was cool shit. And he's like, "Yeah, we're doing the SLAMjamz label. It's gonna be online. We're gonna have MP3s, and people could get tokens, you know, credits or whatever, and download MP3s." Eventually became just free.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna take SLAMjamz, you know, slightly more traditional. We'll still have the website, but I'm gonna get distribution for it. And so we were the Impossebulls by that time. We had kind of a core unit, 4 or 5 guys, and we were working on an album, which was like our second. It was our first real official album, because the first album was kind of like songs we just kind of did and then put them together. But this one was the first meant to be an album, and it was called Slave Education. And Chuck said, "Yeah, well, that'll be the first release on SLAMjamz." And I was like, "Shit, okay." And then there was a huge mistake at the pressing plant, and the album.
What happened?
So they, when we had clearly marked everything and submitted all the materials, our first album was also there.
Okay.
But it was packaged up, and it was something else we were trying to do.
Okay.
Get distribution for through the system, and somehow somebody took it and submitted that as the master. And so they pressed up our first album as the second album, and then they didn't want to. Said it would cost too much to recall everything, so it was dead on arrival. But oh well, things.
Did you guys ever repress up the actual second album?
Yeah, we did. They pressed new ones, and then like it was like a year later or something. We actually switched distributors, and when we switched distributors, they just did a new run, and so it was out there for me.
So those OG misprints are actually collector's items for you.
Oh yeah, I got
that
boxes.
may have them. Oh, you got boxes of the collector's items, y'all. That's some rare stuff right there.
Yeah, got boxes of them joints, but yeah, you know, it was a hard first, very difficult music business lesson to learn. But what was great about it was Slave Education, for all its faults. I was trying to be very ambitious, and so I learned a lot on that record from a producer standpoint.
Okay.
And so what that led to was when Chuck was doing working on, it was 2 records at once.
Okay.
New World Order and How You Sell Soul to a Soulless People Who Sold Their Soul, which didn't end up coming out till later. But while he's working on these albums, you know, he would talk about it on the Enemy board and on the PE site. You know, I'm writing songs or whatever. And somebody commented on it and said something about, man, it would be great to hear you on a song like Shut 'Em Down Again with big drums. I was like, oh, that would be cool. Now, by this point, I had done a couple of remixes, like official remixes.
Yeah.
One of which got licensed for a TV show. So I was in the mix a little bit, you know.
What TV show was it?
It was a Third Watch. It was called. It was on NBC. It was like one of those cop, you know, ambulance, you know, shows or whatever. It was hilarious too because the episode that my song was in, there are guys playing basketball on the court, and they're playing my song on the boombox, and a guy tries to change the song, and the dude stabs him. And that's why they get called. That's why the responders get called to the thing. I was like, oh, right. I was like, homie was protecting my song.
Right, yeah. Like, yeah, don't touch
my
another
boombox.
Yeah, you don't touch another man's levels. Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, so that was my first paid gig. You know, I got a couple $100 for it. It was nice. But I was the remix guy at that point, you know.
Okay.
Like, okay, we need a remix, send it to C-Doc. He'll do it, remix it and shit.
Which at that time, and even, you know, previous to that, I mean, when you got to the mid 90s, you know, like, especially by 94, you know, remixes were a big thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you were going to the club and club DJing, it was always, people wanted to hear the remix and stuff. You know, it's like, you got to play the remix because, you know, they added you know, more MCs to it, or they flipped the beat and some of the stuff. And it was, sometimes the remixes were way better than the original, and then sometimes the original still was better than the remix. But
yeah. I think it was, I really think it was Pete Rock was the guy that changed the landscape as far as remixes go.
Tell me why.
Because he brought his distinct sound, but he was able to still make it work. The Shut 'Em Down remix he did is still my favorite.
My God.
Ever.
My God.
And that's the thing, because Shut 'Em Down was cool. It was dope, right? Big drums. Chuck sounds great on it or whatever. Pete flipped that into some other shit, and that shit was just ill. And it's still dope, right? It's not like it's a totally different thing, but it's just,
they added those horns and shit to it, like, man,
crazy, man.
Yeah.
And Pete was able to bring his signature sound because he went on that run. It was, you know, Shut 'Em Down. He remixed Jump Around. It was crazy.
That was a whole nother one. Yeah. Cypress Hill. He went and did a Cypress Hill remix too. Yeah.
Just a Man, Das Effects.
Yeah.
K Solo.
Yeah.
P Rock was killing it, man.
And also he was putting out his own albums too at that time too.
Yep.
One of my favorite solo songs that he did off of, I think it was his first solo album, was where he took Loose Ends and made the song Time.
Yep.
If you remember that one.
Yeah.
That song has got just like the atmosphere to that song. Like, that's a song I play a lot to this day, and I mix it in with a lot of stuff off of the Second to Last Tribe album, Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Yeah, and that one, like Stressed Out, is like one of my theme songs. You know, it's alarm tone, like, because I'm Mr. Stress. So anyway, but yeah, man, like that, like Pete Rock definitely was putting it down for real, like more so than Diddy. But Diddy was credited for the
later.
remix.
Yeah, Diddy was later. That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole nother thing.
But anyway, I saw that post about Shut 'Em Down, Big Drums. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make one of those songs. I'm gonna make something with big drums and blah blah blah. It'd be like Shut 'Em Down, right? I made this beat, sounded nothing like Shut 'Em Down, but it was dope, and I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm like, okay, this ain't, So I emailed it to Chuck. I said, send him an email. I'm like, yo, check this out. If you can use it, cool. If not, no big deal, whatever. 20 minutes later, I get an email back. He's like, I'm writing to it right now. I'm like, oh shit! Like, this is okay. This isn't a remix. Does that give you
goosebumps?
Yeah, right. Like, this is real deal. This is the real deal right now, right?
Right.
So it started off as a song called "Makes You Blind," but then he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna do something else for that." And then he wrote this new song, and it's called "Superman's Black in the Building," and it was supposed to be the first single from New World Order, but it got I got really ambitious with it.
Okay.
And just kept going and going and going. And so then he did a song called Bring That Beat Back. That kind of came, not that Superman wasn't, right? But Bring That Beat Back became kind of like his focus. Like, oh, okay, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the single.
Okay.
I was like, okay, whatever. Most people remember Superman's Black in the Building. It ended up I had an idea where I changed, like, after the first 3 minutes, I changed up the rhythm and the tempo of the song. And so there's this whole instrumental thing that goes on, and it ended up becoming like the longest song in the Public Enemy catalog. I think it's like 11 and a half minutes or something like that.
Wow.
And it ends the album, and everybody in the camp that heard it, I gained their respect. Like, it's not like, oh, C-Doc, yeah, he does remixes sometimes. Now it's like, oh shit, C-Doc, yo, Johnny Juice. Salute to Johnny Juice, one of the illest, dopest motherfuckers on the planet.
Yes.
Johnny Juice was like, yo, man, that's the best song on the album. And he's got records on that. He's got dope records on that album. He's like, yeah. He's like, no, you did. He's like, you did the best song on that. I was like, shit, Juice, thank you. He's like, nah, man, you earned that shit for real. So that was a big turning point. So now the next record, they're starting working on the next record. All right, Doc, send me some beats. Okay. So I think I got 2 placements on the next P record, which was Beats in Places. So now I'm in the mix as a producer, and so it's interesting. I'm doing other things, but I can always come back to that. Chuck's always like, all right, come back. So when he did the 2 albums again for the 2012, which was the push for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that was, what was that, the 25th anniversary. So we did 2 albums that year. Most of My Heroes Still Don't Appear on Those Stamps.
Yep.
Which came out first in the summertime, and then the fall we released The Evil Empire of Everything. And I had, I had some placements on that. I did the interludes, and also by this point in time, I got the job to sequence the records.
Oh, wow. Which is like kid in a candy store type job right there.
Seriously. And it was, I didn't take that lightly. Because Chuck was like, that was my job. Back in the Bomb Squad days, that was Chuck's job. He's like, I sequenced the records. I came up with the little things in between and stuff. He's like, I don't do that anymore. You do that. I said, okay. So I got to do it on New World Order, and then it became kind of my thing.
Wow, that's dope. Because I mean, think about it. Like, you're DJing essentially the album. Mm-hmm. And it's the whole experience of how someone. Because I mean, if you, again, as we spoke about it earlier, you could have a really tight group of songs and album, but if the sequence is out of order and if it doesn't flow and there's no continuity, then it's kind of herky-jerky, and it might not be one of those things where someone can put it in and go do what they're doing and let it be on repeat because it's flowing, it's just going, and you just constantly keep listening to it. And there might be songs that might not be your first songs, but because everything's flowing and grooving in the way that it attaches in between two songs that are maybe stronger, you end up liking that song too. So I mean, it's such an art to that. What was your approach to that? Because I'm curious, because that's a hell of a responsibility. Like, when he tells you that, what went through your mind, like, besides like, oh hell yeah, I got the gig, but was there anything like, shit, like, all right, let's not mess this up?
Oh yeah, always. Yeah, it's like it's such an important thing. I don't think people realize it, because if you hear a great album that is sequenced well, you don't think about these things. You're just like, oh, okay. But at some point in time, there's all this raw material that has to be shaped into something. I always go back to my favorite records. Fear of a Black Planet is always a reference, because I think that record is sequenced immaculately.
Yes, it is.
It's one of my all-time favorite albums, if not my favorite album. But so I go back to albums that work well, and Fear is one of those that works very well. So for PE, that's kind of obvious. Like, okay, what song is Brother's Gonna Work It Out? Mm-hmm. What song is Terror Dome? And you find these places for these songs. Sometimes I get explicit instructions like, okay, this song has to be first. Like when I did New World Order, he's like, the title track has to be first and Superman has to be last.
Okay.
Everything else, you figure it out. Okay, cool. I can work on that. When we did Most of My Heroes Still Don't Appear on Those Stamps, I produced a song called Run Till It's Dark.
Oh, I like that song too. Yeah.
Thank you. He's like, album starts with Run Till It's Dark. Figure out the rest. Okay. He's like, you got to start with Run Till It's Dark and then go from there. Okay, cool. I can do that. Sometimes it's like Evil Empire Everything. The title track is like almost like a scratch intro, and it's got a little rhyme. Obviously, that's how you start the record, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you start the record there. And then there's two songs back to back. One piece, two. I forget what two is. Or one is something, and then two piece is what it is. Those songs back to back, they go together. Okay, so those songs have to go together. So we go there. Then we figure out the rest from there. Okay, cool. So it's always a process. It's always an interesting process. Sometimes, usually I'm right, with it. Sometimes he makes slight adjustments. When we did his solo album in 2018, the Celebration of Ignorance, I submitted my sequence, and he totally changed it. I got you. Okay. He's like, nah, do this. And I was like, oh, that's how you want to do it. And I was like, okay, because I I had done a remix, and for, I guess, what was the single, for lack of a better word, the main song or whatever. And so I put the main version first and my remix last. And he flipped it. He's like, nah, start the album with your shit. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't want to.
So that's like twice that he tells you, like, that you've mentioned here is like, start the album with your song, which at that, that's got to be a hell of a compliment too, because you got to start strong.
Yeah, it is. And that was an interesting record too, because again, he's like, send me beats, Doc. And by this point, we had done the 2017, what I call the Lost Public Enemy album, which is Nothing Is Quick in the Desert, which unfortunately, before it could become something else, fell victim to lawsuits, and it got stuck in the netherworld for a while. It ended up becoming What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down.
Gotcha. Why did what was the are you able to? Are you at liberty to speak what happened?
What had happened was yeah, we did the record, and the plan was to, and that was another crazy thing too. Well, let me tell you this real quick.
Okay.
I was working on, Chuck sent out an email to a bunch of producers, and I was on the list, and said, I'm going to start writing songs for the new Public Enemy album. Please send beats.
Got it.
This was on a Tuesday. I was working on some other stuff. I think I was working on some film stuff. Wednesday, he sends an email. Please don't send me any more beats. I have too many beats. And I'm like, shit. I didn't even get to send anything. I'm like, damn it. Oh well. I'm like, oh well. I working throughout the week. Friday comes around. I'm like, you know what? To hell with it. I'm gonna send a beat, and I'm gonna make something and send it. What? He can not use it, right?
Right.
So I make this beat.
Okay.
And it's a little different than what I had been working on at the time. I'm like, okay, but it's heavy, and it's kind of slow, and it's slower than I normally do, but it's heavy. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of dope. I sent it to Chuck. I'm like, look, I know you got beats coming out your ears. Here's one. If you can use it, cool. If not, don't sweat it. Just like I did with Superman's Black in the Building.
Yeah.
I send it. About a half hour later, I get in the car, and with my son, Davey, and I think he might have had t-ball practice or something like that. He was still little, and so we're driving to go to the ball field or whatever. The phone rings, and it's Chuck. I'm like, yo, what up? He's like, that's it, Doc. I go, what's it? He goes, that's it. That beat? He goes, that's the sound of the album. I'm like, huh? He goes, no. He's like, that's it. Send me more of that. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah. He goes, you nailed it. Whatever that is, just do more of that. I'm like, okay. So, okay, there we go. I guess I'm in it to win it now. So, I send him some more tracks. He starts writing. He comes up with some ideas, and that became the whole. The first song I sent was called "Beat Them All," and then he's like, "Hey, we should do." Then he did one called "Smash the Crowd." And he's like, "Yo, we should do Beat Them All into Smash the Crowd, and then into If You Can't Join them, Beat them." And so he's coming up with all these crazy ideas. It's like, okay, cool. So we did this record. He's like, you take charge of it. Okay, you oversee it. And because you figured it out. I'm like, all right. So I'm going to the other producers working on it. I'm like, listen, don't be afraid to do crazy shit, like do change-ups and stuff like that, because that's what I'm trying to do with my songs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay. So we get it all together. We strike a deal with Bandcamp to make the album a free giveaway, Bandcamp exclusive for like a week or something like that. And then the plan is to pull it down, and then we'll release it traditionally.
Okay.
Vinyl, CD, the whole 9 yards, right? Public Enemy's still independent at this point, right? At this point, also, I find out quickly that a previous business arrangement Chuck had with an old partner of his is falling apart and dissolving. What happens is the album gets mixed into that because Flavor had an issue with that because he had a issue with the previous, with royalties and things like that from this previous business arrangement.
Okay.
That's basically what it was. So lawsuits are filed. Everything comes to a screeching halt. And that's what happened with Nothing is Quick in the Desert.
Gotcha.
But then that opens up the door the next year. I'm doing film stuff. Chuck calls me. He's like, hey, I'm starting a new label. I go, oh, cool. He goes, it's called SpitSLAM. And what that is he took SLAMjamz, and then the label after SLAMjamz, which was part of this business arrangement that was, fell apart, was called Spit Digital. And he's like, okay, SpitSLAM record label group. That's a new thing. I'm like, cool. He goes, I want you to run it. I go, Chuck, I don't know anything about running a record label. And he goes, that's okay. You'll figure it out. I can't say no to the guy.
Hell no, you can't say no to Chuck D. Here, run my record label. Like, you're going to say, nah, man. Like,
so that's how that started. I'm like, okay. And he's like, shortly thereafter, he's like, I need beats. I'm going to do a solo album. Okay, cool. Now, any other time I'd sent beats, he picked like 2 or 3, maybe 4. I send him beats, and they're decent. I start with sketches, and then once I get the lyrics back, I build the songs around the lyrics.
At this time, what are you using to make your music?
At that point in time, I had been using Reason. I still use Reason.
Okay.
That's how I make beats. I've made beats since 2003, I think.
In Reason. Okay, so you've grown up with it.
Yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
A buddy of mine sent me a crack copy of Reason, like Reason 1 or 1.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I tried it out. I'm like, yo, the sounds that I'm getting out of this shit are crazy. Because it was all very sketchy before that. Like, sometimes shit would sound good, sometimes it wasn't sound so good.
Yeah.
And once I figured out Reason, I was hooked. And so I had been using Reason nonstop. And
gotcha.
to this day. And so I send him beats for Celebration of Ignorance. And eventually he starts recording, and he starts sending me stuff back. He used all the beats. I'm like, oh, okay. There were, I think 2 other songs that are on the album that I did not do.
Okay.
But I did the rest of the record, and I'm like, oh, I'm not used to this. Okay, usually I only do a couple joints, but okay. So, all right. So this is the new thing. It's coming out on SpitSLAM. Cool. This is starting to establish the label. And so, like, 2018, 2019, that was the beginning, and we were really trying to get our footing with the label. And he brought some things to the table that he wanted to put out. And, of course, it's his label. I'm not going to say no. But quickly I learned that the response we were getting from the projects that weren't of a certain sound, of a certain style, weren't getting the same response that the other stuff was. And that was a classic sound, a boom bap sound, classic rap, old school, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
That's our pocket, and that's what I'm good at, I guess, that's my steez.
Yeah, that's your ear. What your ear's accustomed to, yeah.
And I know that that's the shit that I love, and I know that there are other people out there that love that sound. And so I said to him, I'm like, look, I'm going to take the label in this direction because I think that's important. Because we're not going to be able to compete with trap. We're not going to be able to compete with whatever the major labels are doing. We can't compete with Drake.
Yeah.
There's not a chance. We can barely compete with the other indie labels that do boom bap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we have Chuck D's name. We have the artist that he were bringing to the table. Daddy O from Stetsasonic was in early. He was back doing solo records. So that was, I think actually that was the first album we released on SpitSLAM. I think it was the Daddy O's No Tablecloths.
Shout out to Daddy O too.
It's the first one on my SpitSLAM poster, so it must have been early.
Gotcha.
So, you know, the first couple of releases were Daddy O's No Tablecloths, DJ Lord's Afterburn.
Shout out to Lord, man.
He's just one of the illest cats on the planet. Just so dope, man. That's the homie, man. I love DJ Lord. And so cool that he is rolling with Cypress, man. That's a perfect marriage. He is in the right place, man.
Got a chance to see and meet him on my 19th anniversary last year.
Nice.
They actually came to Colorado on the day of our anniversary, and we did a whole thing, and it was
that
amazing.
Red Rocks?
No, actually, it was in a town up in the mountains called Dillon, and it's on a lake, and there's an amphitheater, and it's up in the middle of, like, in between all of these peaks, and it's on its way to Vail, Aspen, Breck, Keystone, all of that. It's like one of the towns that you have to go through to determine which skiing places you're gonna go to. It's a dope spot, but it's iconic. The pictures and the views and everything were amazing. Yeah.
So Lord's record, and then Chuck's Celebration of Ignorance, and that was the first time I was involved heavily in pressing vinyl for the first time. They had done records that I have beats on and stuff like that, but this was the first time that I'm supervising the layout, the artwork layout, because I've been doing artwork and ads and layouts for years, but I really had to step up my game now. So I oversee everything for the label, and then I'm approving test presses, and we were what's the RTF out in California.
Okay.
That's where we got them pressed, so we got to go I was out with Chuck and Callie, and we did
a tour of the facility. Yeah.
So it was cool, and I learned a lot about the process, still learning, and that was the beginning of it. That was the beginning of the of SpitSLAM, and I've just been, I can't believe it's been 8 years, man. Damn.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, since 2020 happened, everything has been a blur. At least for me in my life, it just, it was like resetting everything for a moment,
2020 was wild because everything shut down, and then I'm doing records. 2020 was crazy because, have you got time for this story?
Absolutely. I got all the time that you have.
Okay.
You tell me when you got to go.
Okay. So,
all right.
So 2019, is when the vinyl for Celebration of Ignorance came out, and I'm trying to build the label. So I'm producing projects that Chuck had wanted to do that he couldn't get any of the other producers to do.
Gotcha.
So we did a project with Jawel, Almighty Jawel, rest in peace, from Son of Berserk. He did his solo project called Pop Smash. And I basically took the reins and produced that record and put it together. we got that record out. I brought, I had done a track for a group called Black Medine, and I brought them to SpitSLAM. I was like, you guys would be a great fit here. And so I produced their SpitSLAM debut. It wasn't their debut album, but their SpitSLAM debut. That was Dangerous Art Form. Just celebrated an anniversary a couple days ago. Or yesterday it was. And, you know, and then James Baum, who's a S1, one of the original S1Ws, had been years trying to put together, he's been trying to do spoken word stuff. And he had done some spoken word stuff on a couple of PE joints, Superman's Black being one of them. He had written a part for Chuck to do. Okay. But now he was doing it himself. And Chuck's like, yo, man, I can't get anybody to do this James Baum record. And I'm like, I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's do it and put it out. And so we did this hip-hop spoken word thing, real grimy beats and stuff like that. It was cool. I had a lot of fun with it. James and I have done another album since, so we've done 2 records together. And, you know, whenever he's ready, we'll do the third one because they're easy records to do. So we're putting these records out. And Chuck was still with the group Prophets of Rage.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. That was during that time, which Prophets of Rage was an amazing, amazing collaboration.
Yeah, so he was trying to, at that point in time, they were working on their second record, and he was trying to really creatively kickstart those guys. Because it was Prophets of Rage, for those of you who don't know, it's Rage Against the Machine minus Zach De La Rocha. It's the band part of Rage Against the Machine. And then it was Chuck, Be Real from Cypress Hill, and DJ Lord. So that's how Lord and Be Real got close.
Yep.
And so Lord started subbing on Cypress Hill dates when they didn't have a DJ. And so Chuck, in order to creatively kind of kickstart it, and I got to do a video, two videos for those guys. To creatively kickstart the second album, he started writing songs. Because they would have rehearsals and they would record the rehearsals and to get ideas. And so Chuck went to his studio, shout out to JP Hesser, in Ventura, California, where the Castaway Studios is, where Chuck records. And he took the demos to JP, made loops out of them, wrote songs, and recorded all his vocals for these songs.
Wow.
And he said, he called me one day. He's like, he told me what he was doing. And he goes, I don't know what's going on with Prophets, man. He said, but if this doesn't fly, I'm going to send you all this stuff and you make an album out of it. And Flavor at this point there was still legal stuff going on. So PE was like in limbo.
Yeah.
But Chuck doesn't sit around. You know, he gets creative. He wants to do stuff. So, Prophets eventually, they decided to part ways. And so as soon as that happened, literally the day that the news came out that they were splitting, he's like, all right, I'm sending you these joints.
And that happened on April 1st, which was like around, if I'm not mistaken, that happened around on April 1st. And it was like an April Fool's joke, as I didn't want to believe. I was like, they're not breaking up, man. There's no way.
Yeah, well, I remember we dropped the Enemy Radio album on April 1st.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think it had happened kind of before that, but I don't remember when they announced it. But so Chuck sent me these songs, and he said, start building an album. And he's like, but I don't want it to be Chuck D. I don't want it to be Mr. Chuck or whatever. And so they had done, he had done some touring. Lord, the S1Ws, and a cat out of the Bay Area, Jahi, shout out to Jahi. And he wanted it, since it wasn't PE, he wanted to call it Enemy Radio. And so, which he calls the sound system component of Public Enemy. The DJ sound system component of Public Enemy. And but they ended up calling it Public Enemy Radio because they wanted to, that branding or whatever.
The brand recognition.
Yeah, exactly. But he's like, I'm gonna have Jahi jump on a couple of these songs. This will be an Enemy Radio album. So I took the songs and I put it together. We got Loud Is Not Enough, and we released it on April 1st, 2020. Shortly thereafter, all the legal stuff with PE got figured out, and Chuck's like, all right, we need an album. And so he wanted to re-release Nothing Is Quick in the Desert and add some songs to it. But then Def Jam got involved. And they didn't, they're like, well, you already did that, so we want a new title for it. And, we had already, Chuck had already done State of the Union with DJ Premier, so that was going to go on the record. And then Def Jam said, yeah, it needs a new title, and it's got to be a single album, because we had a lot of songs, because he had written new songs. And so then it became, during a phone call, he's like, they're like, well, we need a new title. And he goes, what you going to do when the grid goes down? I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude, that was such a huge album too, because I mean that album, and just the subject matter, especially with the pandemic happening, and wow. And that was definitely something that was in the news a lot, talking about how our energy grid is so at risk. So
it was a wild time. But so COVID's happening, everything's shut down basically, and then they're like, Chuck's like, I'm gonna fly you to New York, we're gonna shoot a video with DJ Premier. I'm like, oh, okay. Sure. And then I fly home, and then for a couple of days, and then I fly to California. And the airports are ghost towns. It's wild,
Yeah.
It's
masked
weird.
up.
Masked up. Not hardly anybody there.
Yeah.
Very strange. I go to California to shoot the rest of the video, because it was just Chuck and Primo in New York. And I go to California to shoot Chuck and Flav and Lord, and shout out to Chris Knabb, owner of Escarpment Studios out there, who let us use his spot and was my assistant for the shoot.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, super dope guy. And we did this video, and then when I got back the following weekend, I drove to Washington, D.C. to shoot the S1Ws in front of the Martin Luther King Jr. Monument. And so
you're actually running and shooting the video at that point. Yeah.
Yep. And, it's all guerrilla style. I got the job shooting videos for PE because Chuck saw what I was able to do with just basically me and a camera and a box. I was able to make these videos fast and cheap and dirty. And he said, I hate shooting music videos. He goes, I can't stand it. He goes, you're on set all day. It sucks.
Yeah.
He goes, it's a waste of a day. He goes, I can get with you, Doc. We can shoot in an hour and be done and go home. And he goes, I love that.
What's the video editing software that you used back then and now?
I've been using Vegas Pro.
Shout out to Vegas, man.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Love Vegas. I tried Premiere, and it made the workflow for it made no sense to me. I just could not wrap my head around it.
It's a whole different workflow. You have to really, because it's based off of, at that time, Avid was the industry leader, and then when Apple came out and really started putting their foot in the game, they had Final Cut Pro, and now Final Cut Pro is not even a professional software.
Right.
It's more like iMovie now, and basically Premiere kind of stepped in, but Vegas is still being out there. I didn't even know Vegas was still out there.
Yeah, it's changed owners a couple of times. It was Sony when I got it, but originally, but now it's, and then it was Matrox for a while, and I think it's something else now. But Vegas is dope because I got and I never remember the name of it. Panasonic released one of those prosumer, the first prosumer 24 frame video cameras.
Yes. The GL, or was it the XL? No, it was
DVX or something like that.
100
or something like that. So Chuck bought one of those for me. He's like, I'll front you the camera. He actually got me two.
Mm-hmm.
I'll front you the cameras, and then you be the guy. So you do all the SLAMjamz videos, and you do all the PE videos.
Gotcha.
So I needed software that could do 24 frame timeline, and somehow I found Vegas, and I just learned it, and I got good with it, and I just, that's been my thing,
That's dope.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's great software. I love it, and I've used it for all my films and all the videos and everything else.
I wanted to ask you about that because you got into filmmaking, and how did that happen? I mean, because you're so busy with everything that in the music world, and start running a label and doing all of that stuff. Was there something inside of you creatively that it was like a passion project, or was like, I've got this, I've got to do this, or how did that come about?
Yo, man, I honestly thought that, like, when I was a kid, my dad bought a video camera that he could use to record lessons. He was a teaching pro.
Okay.
And so he would have the camera set up so he would give the students, his students, the members or whatever, give them a tape at the end of the lesson and be like, okay, watch this, and, this is good, and yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
I just took to it because I love movies and, MTV, and we're watching, my brothers and I are watching music videos. Somehow I, conned my parents into letting me use the video camera. And we just started making all these stupid little movies as kids. But I started watching movies really closely and like trying to emulate what they were doing in Hollywood films, and I got okay at it. I got decent at it, and I did this school project for extra credit to save my French grade because I was a terrible French student.
Yeah, I sucked at French too.
Yeah, man. But my teacher was super cool. Like, she was this older lady, well traveled, just had all these crazy stories. And she was a big Napoleon buff, so I did this. I did this like 45-minute movie about Napoleon, the end of Napoleon's life after Waterloo and all this shit in my house. It's crazy, it's silly, right? But she loved it, and we took it very seriously. I was 16 years old, took it all very seriously, and she loved it. And my parents were like, "Oh, maybe Dave could do this." So I ended up going to film school for a minute, in Dayton. I went to Wright State. They had a film program. And so I was there for a year and a half. I learned a little bit, met some great people, and I had to drop out. But that was my thing. I thought I was going to do movies. I thought I was going to make independent films. And I stumbled into music. Music was a hobby. And then all of a sudden, my first paid gig is, I'm a music producer. Oh, okay, this is weird. I didn't expect this. So after doing, and then my first professional video gig was with Chuck and SLAMjamz and Public Enemy. So now I'm doing music videos. I'm like, I want to make a feature film. Why not? And there was a guy, Kyle Jason. Shout out to Kyle Jason.
Salute.
Yeah, who an incredibly talented singer. I'm doing music videos for Kyle for his SLAMjamz debut, and he's like, "Yo, check this out!" And he shows me a trailer for this super low budget movie he's in. I'm like, "I didn't know you were an actor." He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I met this guy, Junie Smith, who was an actor, who was in like Lethal Weapon 2 and some other movies. He was one of the cops in Lethal Weapon 2."
Okay.
And Junie was an actor for years, and then he was like, I want to make films, and figured out a way to make films, and super low budget. And Kyle was like, I'm like, this movie's kind of rough, bro. And he's like, yeah. He goes, we got one take, you know. He goes, somebody had to screw up really bad to get a second take because they were shooting on film.
Right. So yeah, it costs money. Yeah.
Costs money. I got these cameras, these 24 frame video cameras that look kind of like film. Like the shit looks good. I'm like, yo, if this guy Junie can make movies and sell them on DVD, I can do this shit. So I wrote a script called The Quiet Arrangement. I got my cousin to, you know, give me his credit card as my executive producer. And we did this movie. I put Kyle in it. Chuck's in it. Chuck came out for a day to Pittsburgh on his own dime. It plays the police chief in a scene. It was great. And
you got Chuck to play the police chief. That's dope. That's a dope placement too. Salute to that.
It was great. He's like, I'm no actor, Doc. It was funny too. I approached him. I was going to ask him for money. And I wrote the script, right? I'm going to do this feature film. Kyle's going to be in it. I was about to say, and I was wondering if you give me some money. I go, and he goes, and you want me to be in it? And I go, yeah, that would be great, bro. And he's like, who you want me to play? I'm like, I don't know. I'll send you the script. So I had to write in his part, you know, something quick that he could do one scene and be done. And so that's how he ended up in the film. It was hilarious. But he was great. He came out and we shot it in like an hour or something, and he knew all his lines and everything. It was great. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. Quiet Arrangement didn't really do much. We put it out on DVD, but we got distribution through MVD, Music Video Distributors, who is our aggregator now for SpitSLAM. We've been working with them for years.
Dope.
And yeah, and it just was the beginning of it. And then and so I just started making films. That's kind of why I was out of the music shit for I wasn't out, because if Chuck said, hey, I need beats, I would send him beats. Okay. But I wasn't really doing much on the music side because we were trying to build our film company, HWIC Filmworks, which is Hollywood in Cleveland, because my cousin, who's my partner, is based in Cleveland, and that's where he runs the business out of.
Shout out to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what that HWIC stood for.
Yeah, Hollywood in Cleveland. So
gotcha.
So yeah, we've been doing that, and you know, once Tubi came along, that was, you know, first it was Amazon Prime for a minute. We made some money there with Heights Girl, and then we did Heights Girl 2, and then
I have to check these out. I haven't seen any of these, man.
Yeah, we got. You know,
I have the list of them.
You tell me what you think.
I'm going to, because I have the list of all of the movies and stuff like that, and I was like, man, wow, all right, I gotta check out.
It's cool, man, because like then, you know, Tubi happened, so we released movies on Tubi, and people are seeing them. So then stuff starts happening. Like we did this movie called Locked In, and it got a write-up in the New York Times.
That sounds extremely familiar. I don't know if it's just because of me doing my research or...
Like, it could be that, and also right around the same time, there was like 2 other movies came out called Locked In.
Okay,
like,
all right, fair enough.
Shit, we blew it with the name, but it was this. But there was this article in the New York Times. It's Tubi is rewriting the rules of black indie movies, and they picked 4 movies, and we're one of the movies in there. And it was like, wow, okay. And then we did Black Men Don't Cheat, and Jess Hilarious on the Breakfast Club radio show saw it and shouted it out, and it became our most popular movie. Shout out to Diesel as well, our star, and and so, like, you know, we didn't know we were going to do sequels, so we've ended up doing 2 more. We did part 2, and part 3 just dropped on Tubi a couple weeks ago.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, congratulations and salute to you for being so multifaceted, and
Thank you.
You know, just being such a creative. And also, folks, he has a podcast as well. He's over 200 episodes deep. Tell everybody about that, because it's a dope podcast. I've checked out. And, you know, you do run clips on it, too, because you have a separate IG channel that's dedicated for shorts for that, and that's linked in the description as well. But tell everybody about that podcast.
Yeah. So a guy that's a friend of mine who was doing promotion, like Instagram, social media stuff for his work. He worked for an insurance company. I hit him up in the early, SpitSLAM days, and I said, look, I need help with this because I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, okay. And he kind of got the social media started.
Okay.
And he said to me, I ended up taking over eventually, but he said to me, he goes, you got a lot of crazy stories. You should do a podcast. And I said, that'll last like 4 episodes, once I get through all the stories. What else are we going to do? And he's like, I don't know. What would you want to do? And I said, what I would like is, there were these books that Brian Coleman wrote. Check the Technique.
Okay.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's subtitled Liner Notes for Hip Hop Junkies.
Yes.
Fantastic books. And he interviews the artists and they go through classic albums. I said, if I was to do a podcast, I would like to do something like that. Like a podcast that would be that. Where we talk to artists and talk about their careers and the music they made and so on and so forth. So it started off humbly enough, but I was able to get Mike G from the Jungle Brothers as one of our early guests, which was very cool.
Shout out to the Jungle Brothers, man.
Love the JBs.
Yes.
Just the dopest, one of the dopest groups ever. And Chuck would come through, when he was able to. Daddy-O would come through. They were early guests too. And we just started building it. And then I finally built like a team around it. And it's shifted a little bit, but we got a great team now. Shout out to Jennifer O'Jenny, who is one of our main producers, booking agents. Jennifer got her start at K-Day, KDAY in Los Angeles, which was the first 24-hour rap station. Yeah, iconic. Jennifer has all these crazy stories about, the mix masters and the early days of NWA before they were NWA and all that stuff. Greg Mack and Bobby Jimmy and the Critters and all the artists that came through LA. And also shout out to my other partner, Ultramag 7, the Culture Clip King.
The Culture Clip King. Yes, he is. You're lucky to have someone to clip you, because that's the thing I have the most I got all these dope ass interviews, and I'm like, I just focus on doing this and researching and booking and yeah, man. Mag 7's dope because I followed him for a while. Yeah,
he's great, and he's got incredible hip hop knowledge, so he fills in the gaps that I come to the table with certain questions, and then he comes in with the other stuff because he knows so much. He probably knows more than I do. I'm sure he does. But it's a great team, man. And yeah, we have. I don't remember when we started. 47, 8, 9 episodes ago. But we haven't missed a week yet. I missed a couple episodes, but the team
when
has
is
always
it?
Been there.
Tell everybody when it is. What time? What day?
Yeah, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Channel Zero YouTube channel. We're there every week. We will be there tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
For a new episode. And we got a special guest tomorrow. Hopefully he can make it. But so it's going to be cool. Very cool episode tomorrow. But yeah, man, it's a blast. So I get to talk to my heroes, man, my musical heroes. And I get these stories. We had Satch from the Knots last week. Shout out to Satch.
I was checking that out. Shout out to Satch, man. That's dope.
Love the Knots, man. World Ultimate. Come on. That shit is crazy. Great stories. We just love the stories. We love to hear these stories about how the records were made and these guys, their careers and stuff like that. It's just really dope. So, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, so not to we're going to be live tomorrow as well. Same time at this channel, B-Boys Underground, Ghost Boogie 66 on Twitch and Kick, and also on Facebook. B-Boys Underground on YouTube, because we've got the one and only Sugar Bear that we're going to be we're interviewing. Bear. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too, because that's classic, classic hip hop story.
Do I have his album? Not handy, but yeah, that was some shit, man.
Yeah,
getting to put out Sugar Bear, he'll talk. I know he'll talk about it, but he's like
redoing it and putting it out, man.
Yeah, he's like, I found this tape, all the demos from 1988. I'm like, what? I'm like, we gotta put that shit out, bro.
Yeah, I just finished the artwork for the thumbnail right before I came on here for Excellent. It. So yeah, man. Everything that you've done and everything that you do, if you were going to say any type of life lesson that you have, because you've had so many opportunities and you've been involved in so much. But with that, I already know there's a tremendous amount of work. There's a tremendous amount of work-life balance. And there's also a lot of pressure internally, at least I'll say it for me, to make sure that I do it right. Yeah. And especially in the space that we're in, I find that it's most important, especially in the hip hop space. And we're talking to, up and comers and also established, historical, iconic people in the game. Do you ever find, or what's the lesson that you can say, because this is a big long question, what is the thing that you have learned the most, and what I mean by that, what's the most difficult thing it took for you to learn that helped put you in such a successful position that you are today?
Consistency. That's the main thing. You got to do it when you don't want to do it.
Gotcha.
That's the biggest thing. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it when you don't feel like doing it. You got to keep doing it when it doesn't look like anybody cares.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing it, because that's not, and artists, we're artists. We have this fragile ego thing. It sucks sometimes, but I heard a stat one time, and it's hard to believe, but when you factor in AI music and all that stuff, I think it's pretty true. And this is not an anti-AI rant at all, but every day there are 60,000 new songs released.
And it's not like we could look forward to Tuesday and be looking at the release list at the record store. It's like, what the hell? 60,000 songs a day.
That's what I heard. It
feels like it.
Yeah, it seems incredible. Like, that's a staggering amount of music, but at the same time, it's like, well, that might be right. And so when you hear something like that, and you're like, okay, Tuesday, I'm putting out this Chill Rob G album. Who's gonna listen to it? It kind of not even Chill Rob G, because Chill Rob G's got a name, right? Shout out to Rob. Yeah. Rob is so dope.
And if you guys haven't listened to that album, he produced most of it, correct?
I produced all of it. Yeah.
All of it. Okay, I didn't know if there was one track on there that you didn't. And no. I mean, the features, you've got Sadat X, you've got Tretch. I mean, you've got so many dope ass features on there that you got.
Rob gets all the credit for that, because he brought everybody to the table.
But man, it's Rob G is chill. I mean,
no, okay, I take it back. I brought copyright. That was my contribution. Was copyright.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But you got a chance to produce and make an album with these icons. What was that like, man?
You want to know what's hilarious, bro? The funniest shit about that is that Sadat X and Wise Intelligent. I have produced multiple songs with them on it, and I've never met them.
Never met them?
Yeah,
gotcha.
Never talked to them or anything. It's crazy that, like, in fact, Sadat's on the First Enemy radio record on Loud Is Not Enough. And I just kind of reached out. I said, hey, my name's C-Doc. I'm Chuck D's partner. I'm working on his new album. Would you like to jump on a track? And he hit me back. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And that was that. And
Brand Nubian and Sadat's got one of the most iconic voices in hip hop. There's voices, and there's a lot of people that have iconic voices, but you know it's Sadat X when it's Sadat X, man.
Sadat X. And he's got his own style too.
Yes.
He's so dope, man. He's just one of my favorite guys. Favorite MCs. But when Rob told me, he's like, yo, I talked to Tretch. He gonna get down? I'm like, what? And then he's like, yeah, so this song is gonna be Wise Intelligent, and I'll get Lakim Shabazz, which Lakim was on the last record that we did together. Mm-hmm. So that was still dope because Lakim is dope, and he's only gotten better with age. Yes. All these guys have gotten better with age. And who else? Who am I forgetting?
Let me get back up here.
Oh, R.A. the Rugged Man.
Yeah, R.A.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, Ridiculous is gonna have Sadat. I got Sadat X and R.A. the Rugged Man on it. I'm like, what? And so, and this is funny, right? So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have R.A.'s. I'm gonna send you R.A.'s verse. And R.A. was on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. And he posted something up. He's like, man, I would love to do a song with Big Daddy Kane. If anybody got any up-tempo beats that would work for me, a joint with me and Kane, send them over. I don't know R.A., right? Even though he's done a song with Daddy-O, and not one that I produced, and then he had done a song with Chill Rob G before I started working with Rob. But R.A.'s dope. He's just killer. Yes. And so I'm like, oh, okay, fuck it. I'll send him a beat. So I sent him this beat. Never heard anything back. Okay, whatever. So when Rob tells me that, hey, R.A.'s going to be on the song, I go, I did a beat for R.A., but he didn't do anything with it. And he goes, Rob's like, well, what's the beat? And so I was like, oh, here, I'll send it to you. So I sent it to Rob, and that became the song Let's Go. And he goes, oh, I'm writing to this. I'm like, okay, word. He goes, can we get Chuck on this? I'm like, say less. And so I called Chuck. I'm like, hey, Rob wants you to be on his new record. And he's like, okay. He's like, just send it over. And that's how that happened, man. But I was, every time Rob said, oh, we're going to get, I got Wise Intelligent. Okay. I got Tretch. I was like bugging out. I'm like, what?
Fucking Tretch, right?
Yo, man, it's crazy. And
Tretch doesn't do anything. Doesn't just do collaborations with anybody.
Man, Tretch was like, yo, Tretch sent his verse, and then decided it wasn't good enough. He's like, scratch that. I'm gonna redo it. And he went back and did it again, and it was
bodied it.
It was dope the first time, but he's like, nah, it's not good enough. Shit is crazy. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, I want you to go ahead and put that magazine up so everybody can see it again. So, again, if you guys are not aware, not only SpitSLAM, that there's also, man, this is an amazing magazine, Rap Central Station. And if you do subscribe to it, you'll get a vinyl as well, man. Look at that. And on that vinyl, tell everybody what was on the vinyl again, like some of the artists that are on that vinyl.
Okay, so there's an intro with KRS-One that we actually stripped from a promo video. So this is the only place you can find it on wax. Filmos Chill. Shout out to Filmos Chill, who released one of his albums on SpitSLAM, and we took one of them joints. Cujo Goody from Goody Mob.
Hey man, I just interviewed Cujo last month, and he's such a good brother, man. Like,
such a
man,
great dude, man.
Yes,
Love Cujo. Yeah, he's been
Cujo's
on the show,
amazing.
My show too, man. He's such a dope guy. Great song on here from Cujo. QNC. Money B from Digital Underground.
Man, mad respect and rest in peace, Shock.
Yep, rest in peace, Shock. Dazzy D from Compton's Most Wanted. Way back in the day. Yep. Dazzy's still doing shit. He's been doing shit for a while. He's got his own label now. Yeah, he's been putting out great music. Great song on here. Do Me Right from another SpitSLAM release. Do Me Right featuring Chubb Rock.
Man, Chubb.
Yep, the Chubster. And then Prince Power Rule. On that closes out the A side. On the B side, we got Tracy Lee.
Of course, like old. He never got the push that he deserved, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he had so much more than just the single that just lost my mind. Every place that I go. What was the name? What was the name of that song? The Party, exactly. Yeah. I was thinking, my mind was saying it's not The Party, but yeah, The Party.
It's The Party, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the Tracy Lee joint is crazy. It's dope. The B-Boys, shout out to Donald D and Brother B.
Yes.
Again, another SpitSLAM release. I am so honored to have not only work on that album and put it out, but I produced a couple joints. And those guys had only done singles back in the 80s. So after 40 years, SpitSLAM, we got to put out their first album, their debut album. So shout out to Donald D, Rhyme Syndicate, and Brother B.
Yes.
Great to have those guys. And we're the two MCs on here. Ghost in the Hall, which is DJ Johnny Juice and DMC. Little side project there. Razcast, Leopard Eats Face from his new album.
Razzie, come on, man.
Yep. GTFO, Chill Rob G, from his album, from his new album. Shabam Sadiq, featuring General Steel.
Yo.
And Ray West featuring AG.
Look, that you get a magazine that's shaped like the size of a 12-inch record, and you get a dope ass record to go along with it. Yo, support, man. Just to give you a heads up, we're affiliated with City World Media Group, and that's my media group. Shout out to Black North's birthday's going to be this Wednesday, and he has a show during the day on Wednesday. Serene Nicole's in the comments. It's From Our City to Your World, and we also have a magazine, and we definitely would love to have an opportunity to have you be in City World magazine.
Yeah, word up.
Article, man. That'd be amazing. But I want to be respectful for your time, and thank you. There's so much. I hope that maybe we get a chance to do more than one. Just you and I sitting down and talking and everything, because there's so much more that I want to ask you.
Anytime,
but I know,
man.
But you're in Pittsburgh and it's getting late for you, so I don't want to drag you out too much, man.
It's all good. You got one more question?
Well, yeah. The thing that I want to ask is that. All right, first, here's a real quick one.
Okay.
How did you get your name, C-Doc?
Okay.
We didn't ask that in the beginning.
Okay, let me see if I can do this quickly. It's a long, dumb story. Okay.
It's never dumb, and it's never too long. So
it's silly. So my first, my name is David Christopher Snyder. I was raised Catholic, and so when you're Catholic, you take the sacrament of confirmation. You get to pick a name. So I picked Michael. So me being the goofball I am, David Christopher Michael Snyder. And then my mom's maiden name is Del Cerrone. So that's the Italian side of me.
Gotcha.
And my dad's side is kind of a mix and match of a whole bunch of different things.
Gotcha.
It's Snyder. It's a German name, but we have only a little bit of German in it. So in the family. So I for kicks, I took Del Cerrone as my name too. So it's David Christopher Michael Del Cerrone Snyder. And when I started to try to rhyme, I wanted to come up with something that went with my name. So I took my middle initial CMD, and then I came up with Cool Master D. That was my original MC name.
Gotcha. Everybody has the first one.
And we all have a first one. So that was it was the 80s and the, cool whatever. And so I was Cool Master D for a minute. And then I just shortened it to CMD, back to CMD. So I just stuck with that. My cousin John, when we were freestyling or something or whatever, he came up with C-Doc because he goes CMD, medical doctor, and he just started calling me C-Doc. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And so when I started posting on the enemy board, instead of posting as CMD, I posted as C-Doc, and that stuck. And then it became Doc. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's dope. All right. So the final question that I'm going to ask you is that what does SpitSLAM need from DJs, journalists, collectors, and record stores?
What do we need?
Yes, to be able to help continue and promote and support, what would you say that you need from the collective?
Really just the old saying of each one teach one, spread the word. I am not working with a marketing budget. It's all very homegrown and guerrilla style, man.
Yeah.
The artists we work with, I really only work with artists that are promoting themselves already. They come to us pretty much for the Chuck D association, and I get that. And so I'm very selective in who we work with. It has to have a certain sound. They have to have their own, self-promotion going.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put out street shit, because other labels put out street shit. We'll see. It's a case-by-case thing. But, I think there's enough of that out there that we don't, other labels do it and do it well.
Right time, right project.
Yeah,
it can happen.
Exactly. So, that's not exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to give platform for the guys that are doing other stuff, and not even necessarily conscious stuff per se, but cats that spitters, bars, and and with dope beats. That's what I try to push. And I've got a great group of producers. We do instrumental records too.
Yes, yes, you do.
We put out 2 albums from DJ Too Tough of Tough Crew.
Yes.
That are just DJ records, and he is just ill.
They're crazy.
Yes. I love doing stuff like that. We got a series, you mentioned the Magnificent 7 series. I'll talk about that real quick. That was an idea I came up with because I wanted to have a series that was loosely tied together, kind of like the BBE Beat Generation series, or I think Fat Beats did something called Baker's Dozen.
Yes.
So I talked to M-Rock about it, the homie DJ M-Rock, and he came up with the Magnificent 7. And so we picked 7 producers, including him and I. And I basically, the caveat was just make 7 songs, do whatever you want, make 7 beats, and we'll put out this instrumental series. And so we've got a couple of them out. Here's M-Rock was the first,
and the artwork is sick, man. Look at that.
Yeah, we decided we wanted to try to do comic book style.
Yeah, I love it.
So that something else back to my childhood days of collecting comic books.
Absolutely.
So there, M-Rock's was first. Where's Chrome's at? Chrome's. Shout out to Chrome. Chrome is dope. He does a lot of stuff, too, man.
Yeah, Chrome is ill.
Yeah, he did. So that's the second one. Chrome's album's crazy because he turned it in, right? And we were 3 weeks away from the release date, and he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna redo it." I said, "What?"
"Oh wow."
He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna redo it." I said, "Oh, are you sure? Because it's dope." And he's like, "Nah, it could be better." 2 days later, he sent me a whole new record. Only a couple of the beats were the same, and it was a whole new thing, and it was even better. I'm like, "All right, bro, you got this. I'm not gonna complain." And then the latest one that is out is Damage from Yag Fu Front. Deranged and Damaged. So if you guys remembered Yag Fu Front from the 90s, action-packed adventure, which is another incredible album. Damage did his thing. I believe the next one we got coming up is the Cut Beatles. Shout out to the Cut Beatles. This one comes out next. This is a sneak peek, right? Comes out in August. This shit is bugged out, man. This shit is a lot of fun. They did some really abstract stuff. So yeah, that's the series. We do stuff like that. I'm just trying to come up with interesting, creative shit for the artists to do, for us to do as a label. And like I said, DJ Lord has put out 2 records with us. One of them we re-released. We did a deluxe edition of a lot of fun shit, man. I try to keep this stuff interesting. So if you dig what we do, please tell other people that you think will like it.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
That's it. That's all I can ask, man. Spread the word. And it's cool because I have a select group of people. There's a small group of people that will buy everything we put out.
Yeah.
They, even if they don't know what it is, they'll buy it because it has the SpitSLAM name on it, and that means a lot.
I think really they're almost like a collector item in itself, because I have to give you props on your packaging, and everything that you do. You have a complete package that it feels like a piece of art. That is, it's tangible. It's remember the old school 45s that you'd get with the Turner long pages of the records, with you know what I mean? That it's like that, and especially with the comic book style, it's super dope, man.
Thank you. We're planning on doing when all of these are out, all 7 of them, we're planning on doing some kind of box set. And it'll have, I think we're going to do them on cassettes. And so it'll be all the albums on cassette. And I had every producer do an extra track, a bonus track, an 8th song. So there'll be a tape of bonus tracks. and I talked to Damage the other day about having him I think he's going to do an actual comic book, like a mini comic book that'll go along with the box set. That's the plan anyway. So
hey man, you remember you know how going straight comic book nerd on you is the you would have like a compendium or also the trade paperback that would come out, right? Yes. So and one of my favorite one of my favorite box sets that came out was you remember this bad boy?
I have.
You know what I mean? And it's got, it has the book that's in it, man. This thing right here, you've got that, and then each one of the 4 are, shout out to Def Jam for putting this out. This was the 10th year, and thank you for Warren G and Regulate for being able to make it so, because Regulate's in here. It's because he saved it, but either way, man. I thank you, because again, this has been an honor and a privilege, and I got to give a big shout out to Soul Rack. I thank you so much for the link, and much love to him, much love to you, and I hope that this is a beginning of us being able to showcase any of the artists that come on SpitSLAM. My show is your platform to be able to highlight and play whatever it is, and show, and we do listening parties or whatever, man. Yeah. So I'd love to be able to have you back as well.
Anytime, man. You just let me know. We'll figure it out. But
did you enjoy your time?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll talk rap shit all night, man.
This is my love letter, and this is basically, we try to keep it real, to hip hop. You know, it's B-Boys Underground. We incorporate all the elements. And of course, shout out to City World Media Group, from our city to your world. You got any shout outs before we get up out of here, family?
Shout out to Mara and the kids, Davey and Rocco, of course. I gotta shout them out. Shout out to my team at It's Seeduck again, Jenny and Ultramag, and also all the DJs that help us out, because we do a companion show on Sunday nights called The Mixtape that is like a little primer.
Oh, wow.
Spin the music of whatever artist we have coming on the show on Tuesday. So
yo, dope.
Yeah, so that's always cool. We had shout out to DJ Soulbuck. Soulbuck held us down for a long time, for a number of years. He's moved on to other things, so now we have a rotating cast of DJs. But shout out to all the DJs. Shout out to my partner Chuck D, Mr. Chuck. Thank you for everything. I think
hats off to Chuck D, man. Tell him about him.
So yeah, I'm supposed to have a call with him tonight. So yeah, to catch up on things. Thank you, Ghost, and Soul Rack. Thank you for the Connect, Soul Rack. But thank you, Ghost, for having me on and having some of the other SpitSLAM artists on. Really appreciate it, man. Looking forward to being able to have more and more and more, and also I'll put together a mix of some, like, because I do a lot of shows for B-Boys Underground where I'll go and live on Twitch and Kick and put together mixtapes. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. We will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I say it with a whole bunch of extra syllables because I'm from Cincinnati and that's Ohio as fuck. I cussed at y'all, I'm sorry. But that's what we do here. That'll be 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll have the one and only Sugar Bear tapping in, and then I want to let everybody know we're not done. Wednesday night we've got Kaz Meta. I'm sorry, I'm gonna slaughter his name. Yeah, Kaz Meta on Wednesday night, new up and coming artist. And then Thursday night, I've got the folks, the showrunners or the event runners for the Hip Hop Summit event that's going on here in Denver. That's going to take place, if you guys are in Denver, on September 5th. You will be able to go downtown, and it is kind of like the old school Scribble Jam, and it is an event where there's going to be graffiti writers, b-boys breaking, DJs, MCs. It's all about the culture, just like this show. We keep real hip-hop shit alive and keep hip-hop alive, and because hip-hop isn't just negative, it's all about actually knowledge and growing and community and everything that's positive. Damn
so
straight.
Man, mad love to you. So keep in the present, not in the past, not in the future, just here right now, because I've died twice and all I cared about was where is my wife and where are my kids at when I rode the lightning back to this here plane that we're on. And that's all you got.
Shout out to everybody in the chat too. I can't forget everybody in the chat always. So
mad love to the chat. I love you guys. So from our city to your world, we are B-Boys Underground.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, follow. From my city to your world. We are City World.